What's going on, everybody? We've got JT here and we've got C Will. This is episode 32 of The Next Block. David can't be with us, at least so far. Maybe he'll join at some point during the episode. But we have a fantastic guest on our show with us. We have Victor Shelstad, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who's the CEO of Aegir Tactics, which is a gaming platform building on Algorand. And, we're super excited to have this conversation. But before we jump into Aegir Tactics and what that's all about, how about we talk about a little bit about what's going on in the crypto ecosystem? Because, FTX blew up, Gemini is halting withdrawals. It looks like crypto.com might have had an attempted bank run. There's a lot going on out there. So, I'll pass this off to you, C. Will. What are you seeing out there? And then actually, before we get off to that, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors of the show. So we have a sponsor. We've got Non-Fungible Domains, who's a great sponsor for the show. Shout out NF Domains at app.nfdomains. And also, I want to remind everyone to like and subscribe to the episode if you haven't already. But without further ado, Steve, what are you seeing out there?
Oh, so let me continue the NF domain shout out. I'll say this about NF domains. It makes it so easy to send algo to, like, say, jt.algo or invest in you or David. It's so amazing. You could just type in a name and that name will pop up and you'll send it out. It makes verification easy. So shout out to NFDs.
Absolutely.
But the market, oh man. So what I'm seeing right now, this is a big push y'all going to see, is education, right? So we're at this point now where we understand that not your keys, not your crypto is a real thing, right? So we want to be mindful that these centralized exchanges that are not fully properly regulated by the United States is a liability for us and our funds. So all the people at BlockFi that have accounts there, they're struggling because they have credit card bills to pay and things of that nature. The company is insolvent. So interesting. But my whole take here, again, is to educate. We're in a bear market. So when new investors are tapping in, this is that perfect time to get your mindset right and understand the whole crypto landscape. And then, slowly get into this Web3 space. What's good, David?
How you doing, David?
Much. Got the little guy back down. We'll see if he stays down.
Awesome. Well, but before we jumped into Aegir Tactics, we were just talking about a little bit of what's going on in the crypto ecosystem. Just started talking about, not your keys, not your crypto, and all that jazz. I don't know if you have anything to add about what you've been seeing out there, because it's been hectic, and I'd love to get your perspective.
For me, it's just, I'll say this, a lot of the people here at my complex, I finally think I've convinced them to actually get their own wallets. So I've had three separate people, and they were keeping their crypto on Coinbase, which I do feel like is one of the most, if you're going to hold it on any exchange, like that's probably the one that's not going to go down, or at least I feel like would be last to probably fall, and would be like, at that point, the entire space would be really way bad, that I feel like they'd probably sold already. So
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, starting to convince people to, get their crypto off the exchanges into their own wallets. So trying to navigate that. But outside of that, it really does. It comes full circle, right? I've been telling everybody it's, the same thing, these exchanges, because a lot of people just don't understand what's going on. They're like, what's this whole FTX thing? And, then you got all these other things happening. I'm like, it's pretty much CeFi and the banks trying to do the same thing they already do in the banking world and the financial world, but in crypto, right?
Yep.
You give them your assets, they use your assets to make yield and earn and make money, and they give you a yield, and maybe it's higher than the banks, but the risk you take is 10 times higher, because if you giving them, you're not FDIC insured, right? You have no insurance that money, or yet the value you hold on their platform is there. So I've really just been trying to hammer that home to family, friends, people who obviously have not jumped the space and fled. But yeah, everything's, there's a lot that's bearish. I do think Algorand, this has really put a spotlight, I think, on the blockchains, that are out here building, and that are actual DeFi, right? That there is decentralization, maybe not the perfect decentralization that we all want, but we're working there. And so, it's exciting to see projects still building. Aegir Tactics is one of them. I've seen their NFTs on the, galleries that are out there. And so there's tons of stuff that's still happening. Crypto is not dead, as many people will say it. A lot of the CeFi part of crypto may die, but that's good. We need that to die, in my opinion.
It's great. And I want to add, thank you for that, David. I want to add, so the bullish news that I see is, like you said, DeFi is now in the spotlight. My mom called me the other day and said, man, you see that FTX? So my mom know about FTX, right? So that's good. She never called me about FTX. The last call she called me about crypto was about Terra Luna, right? So she watching the news.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, JP Morgan just did their first blockchain transaction out of Singapore using Polygon. I think that's bullish for crypto. The CBDCs experiment is launching right now as we speak. So I think all of this is bullishness. They just got to get rid of the bad actors.
Yeah. It'll take time, and there's always gonna be bad actors. I mean, there's still bad actors even in stocks and any form of business. There's always gonna be bad actors, but it's good that we have good actors like Victor and what they're building over to Aegir Tactics. So I'm excited to learn a little bit about what you guys got going on and what you're excited about in the space.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of FTX, we've been following it closely too, and I think our big concern is when it comes to regulation, which I think is also technically a silver lining, because I think what we really need to see is more regulation. I think you put it perfectly, is that a lot of these exchanges are essentially doing what highly regulated businesses do in typical finance, but they're doing it in unregulated space, and it's causing a lot of issues. So I think that there's certainly going to be a lot of regulatory hurdles for companies like us, but I think we'll be better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to build off of what you're saying and what C. Will said, and even a little bit of what Dan in the audience is saying. It's very interesting, because when we reach peak euphoria, you start getting your average person being like, "Hey, what's going on with crypto? What's going on?" And it also seems like when you start to reach peak fear, you start to have that same sort of rumbling. So C. Will mentioned his mother. A lot of my friends have reached out, and including even two of my professors at school have asked me, "Hey, what's going on with FTX?" And I do think there's a chance that there might be some contagion that hasn't been felt yet, but it's starting to make me think we're getting near a bottom, if with all this peak fear intriguing even non-crypto folks. But enough about all the doom and gloom of the market. I'd love to dive into a more happier part of the market, which is the builders, and you are one of them. And I'd love to hear about Aegir Tactics some more. And how about we just start off with a quick introduction on yourself, and then we'll go into what Aegir Tactics is.
Absolutely, would happy to start with an intro. So I've been playing digital card games for about 20 years. It was kind of a part-time thing for a long time. I'd work, and then I'd go to play a tournament on the weekend, and I ended up going professional at one point. And I played the games full time. I've been at several major tournaments in MTG, Hearthstone. I played in the World Championship in 2015. Since retired, but my motivation for starting Aegir Tactics is I wanted to build solutions to some of the biggest issues that digital card game players faced, having been a part of that ecosystem. One of the big things is accessibility. These games are known for being very, very expensive to get into and very complicated. They require a lot of research, and there's really such great gameplay and such good strategy and theory crafting that goes into these things, and we want more people to be able to experience that. And so our biggest priority is making it so that the game is easy to jump into and not as expensive as the other card games on the market. So we're aiming to be the first digital card game that you can actually expect to jump right into fair gameplay immediately after downloading the game.
So what would be some of the games you guys are trying to compete against, or that you're trying to take market share, I guess, from?
I would say the biggest one is Hearthstone. That's where our team has our background. That's the gameplay that we know and that we think is the best gameplay out there right now in digital card games. We want to take it to the next level. We're trying to cut out some of the stuff that causes games to be determined by luck and things outside of the player's control. And we want to have a more competitive game. And so I mentioned myself. The other team member who's in charge of design he's known as Pony in the Hearthstone scene. He runs a group called the Pony Dojo, which is a group of most of the Hearthstone grandmasters. And we've really been fortunate to use his connections in the professional scene to make sure that we have the feedback from the players to make sure that this really is solving issues for them and ultimately, the next stage for competition.
That's honestly fantastic because I'm not a big gamer here personally, but Hearthstone is actually one of the few games that I have been playing over the last like 5 years, just intermittently. I'm of course probably nowhere near grandmaster level on that end of the spectrum, but it's a really fun game, and that's actually really exciting because I think one of the downfalls with the current iterations of blockchain gaming is that a lot of them, I think on Algorand is starting to change that a little bit, but a lot of the popular ones don't seem that fun. They seem kind of like something out of the 90s. Maybe I would have played on the Game Boy, back in the day or something like that. But it's really, really great to hear that, you're aiming to, go after some of those really, really exciting and largely played games like Hearthstone. So that's super exciting. When could people expect, either a demo or maybe even like a live test version of the game?
So we have a closed beta version coming this quarter. Um, we have a wait list on our website. I'm sure I can provide that for you guys. And so everyone who signs up has a chance to get into the next wave of closed beta invites. And the public launch of the game, we're planning for 2023. Yep, there's the website.
Fantastic. And any time during 2023, or like you're trying to aim for the beginning, maybe Q2, Q3, or what is the timeline there? I know it's tough because, there's all sorts of things that can create setbacks, but just a rough estimate maybe.
Yeah, I would say around the middle. End of quarter two is what we're hopeful on.
Nice.
But things are moving very quickly in crypto right now. There's a lot of ups and downs. The bear market is,
Brutal.
I wouldn't say it's been a huge problem for us, but it was certainly nicer when everything was, there was a lot more hype and optimism.
Okay, so Victor, I know that you guys have been accepted to the Accelerator program. Can you talk?
We actually completed the Accelerator program.
So it's already over. Can you talk about that experience and what do y'all learned and things of that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a tremendous experience. So it was a cohort of 10 companies, and we met a lot of really great contacts, a lot of close sessions, chats, just really getting a lot of feedback, brushing up on things, and just really getting to network. It was very worth it for us, and I definitely encourage anybody in our position to apply for that program because it really was it was amazing.
Okay. Yeah. So it was let's talk a little more, like a 12-week program. You guys did with tokenomics and I know a few other things, whatever you'd like to share. I'm always interested in these programs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 10-week program, and each week there'd be several meetings, several experts they'd give us access to, and we'd all be in a call and get to ask them lots of questions, and they would also usually run through a course themselves. Lots of different topics specific to blockchain as well, like tokenomics, DAO infrastructure, tech. Like there was some, like if there was anything you were wondering about, there was a session for it.
Nice. Excellent.
So kind of give us a rundown of just what, sorry if you can hear my little guy in the background, he kind of just woke up a little bit. Give us a rundown of what Aegir Tactics is, though, the game, and how, using blockchain makes these type of games better for, the gaming world moving forward.
Absolutely. So the big difference in Aegir Tactics compared to other card games is other games require you to build a large collection of cards and then research to figure out the right combination. At this point, a lot of people just go to websites and figure out what the world champion just played. We want to streamline that process. And so instead of people collecting cards, they collect legends in Aegir Tactics. And each legend comes with a pre-built deck that's been balanced against the other legends. This allows people to get into the game much more easily. They only have one asset to collect, one thing to worry about, and they don't have to be concerned that they might not be using the right combination of cards or that their deck doesn't stack up against somebody else's. But as far as blockchain, there's really limitless potential when it comes to blockchain and gaming. The big thing, first instinct when we first started doing this was being able to solve the problem of ownership is a really big deal, because in any card game right now, there's really no opportunity to trade the cards or to sell them. And you really wouldn't want there to be, because the way these games monetize, these cards just, people can keep earning them, and the market just keeps getting flooded. We've already seen this in some of the blockchain versions of these Web 2 games. As the market gets flooded with these cards, as more and more get made, and then before you know it, the prices have tanked. So providing ownership was part of the solution. The other thing is that we feel really strongly that every asset should have a fixed supply cap, because without that, it's really hard to encourage any kind of long-term collectability of these assets, if people can just keep making more and more of them. So
Right.
All of the assets that we're working with are limited edition, no reprints, a fixed supply cap, and distributed slowly over time to make sure that they remain collectible and have a suitable utility inside the game.
Oh, I think everyone was like, who's going to ask the next question? No, that's fantastic. And I want to ask, because, a little bit outside of the area of the game itself, but I want to ask a little bit about your background some more, because you mentioned you were part of a lot of these, competitions, or so to speak, in the gaming ecosystem. And I want to ask how that was, because I've actually never spoken to anyone that's participated in those. And then how did all of those experiences guide you to where you are today in creating Aegir Tactics?
Awesome. Yeah, I love talking about those times, because those are really some of the brightest times of my life. Just getting to, invited to go out to California to Blizzard HQ, and get to tour the building and then go play in a tournament.
Blizzard HQ? What?
Right. That's huge. That's huge.
I met a guy in San Diego that was working on like the Grand Theft Auto games and all that, or not Grand Theft Auto, but the Blizzard games. I can't remember which one, but no, go ahead, continue.
It's an amazing campus and just an incredible experience, and just a great vacation as well. The other thing too is that at the time that I decided to go pro in card games, I was also doing a lot of asset trading. And so the two really worked well together, because I could, do a little trading in the morning, play card games for a while, then, check back in on my account, repeat.
You sound like you live in the dream, trading cards, travel.
Yeah, it certainly is the dream. And, I hope that one day it's a very accessible dream. But yeah, just incredible experiences. The people that I met in card gaming are amazing people. Just to really get into theory crafting from people from all over the world is such an inspiring feeling. Like through card gaming, I know, Europeans, Africans, the Japanese, Chinese players, Russians. It's incredible. It's such a community of like-minded people, and so really inspired to try and bring this to the next level.
Sounds so dope. I drive by one in my city in Portland. They have it's like always packed. All the card players are there all the time. I don't know what games they're playing, but I'm pretty sure. Have you ever made your way out to Portland?
Close. Yeah, I've been. I think the closest would probably be Seattle.
Nice.
Well, and I was in Utah once, but
Okay.
no, I'll have to check it out.
All right. So one of the favorite things I love on your project is the art. We met before, we talked about this, but can you dive into about your artists and talk about your team and like how you guys came up with these designs and stuff like that and these characters?
Absolutely, yeah. So we work with a German art studio called the Cross Collective, and they've been really big. They've gone beyond just an art studio. That they're they're world builders as well, and they're also really into the vision here. They do play card games, and they're really eager to really get into it and create this world and make sure that it works with the gameplay and that it's really appealing artistically. And yeah, they're so creative. They don't want to do anything cliche, and can't wait to show more of their work.
Yeah, that's definitely super exciting. I think David had to go disappear for a second, but he's typing over here saying one question he would ask is how will the gameplay be for first off, and will it be like turn-based, like attack, defend, more exploratory, and then also what browser-based what browsers will you need, or desktop requirements or anything of the sort, specs and all that.
Absolutely. So the gameplay is more it's not as interactive as some of the card games out there. So it's not like Magic the Gathering or Legends of Runeterra with the defending.
Right.
It was really important for us to have fast-paced gameplay, not only because that's where we think that the real big decision making shines, but also because we really want to be conscious of people's time. And some card games have been known to the matches get quite long, and we want people to really count on these matches taking somewhere between 5 to 8 minutes. And as far as the PVE, that's certainly something we'd like to consider over time. We haven't seen too much success in card games on that front. Well, I wouldn't say that. I know that some people are really into the PVE side of things. We'll certainly explore it. I think we've got some great ideas, but the first focus is going to be on getting the PvP live. And as far as the browser or desktop, we are planning the game for a PC launch and then to do mobile as well after that. In the short term, we are considering cloud gaming. We know that that's becoming quite a hit, and that it does make things more accessible, particularly for crypto users. And so we are looking into that very closely. So we'll keep you posted.
Awesome. And you mentioned mobile gaming, or at least the ability to, play the game via mobile. And are you speaking of like an app that you'll find in the app Play Store, Apple Play Store, Google Play Store, or are you just talking about a mobile friendly game that you could load up on your phone's browser?
So most likely an app. Like I said, we are considering the browser based gaming as well. I think that's really exciting. I just read that Netflix has started their own gaming segment,
Really?
and they are focusing mostly on cloud. And I think we've seen some other really exciting looking things when it comes to the cloud gaming. So we're definitely keeping our eye on that, and that is a possibility. But for now, the plan is for an app that would be in the app stores. I do know that Apple recently came out and said that they're not doing anything involving NFTs with utility. But one of our big priorities in the game is to make sure that it is playable without a wallet attached. And so there is potential to do a version where there might not be a wallet connection for people who are purely focused on the gameplay and not necessarily the blockchain features.
Yeah, it seems like that's a big push and moves. We see, I think it was Cosmic Champs is doing that as well in our ecosystem. Just trying to, I think it's a smart idea. We can onboard people, but the people that want to use it in the blockchain way still have that opportunity to tap into that economy and ecosystem. Smart idea.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think blockchain, we talk about it a lot in terms of wallets, but I think there's so much potential even outside of wallets. Like at a bare minimum, to us, it would be really important for the game to, the skeleton to be built on the blockchain. So even if people aren't attaching wallets, we want to be using these assets to keep track of who owns what. Right now, we have a system planned for creating wallets on the back end so that people can still collect assets that are blockchain assets, and it's all completely hidden from them. But we're able to keep track of who has what and make sure that all these assets have a fixed supply cap.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I've been seeing it even outside of the gaming ecosystem in products like Lofty AI, which recently they started their own wallet, so you could just go to Lofty without having any idea of crypto and sign up for an account, and they start you off with a wallet. So you don't have to know how to make a wallet, you don't have to worry about saving your private keys. Now they let you, if you want to have your own wallet, they let you transfer everything to your own personal wallet, but they start you off very, very simply. So you really have to have no idea whatsoever that you're using blockchain. You can just go on and use, ACH or dollars or whatever, purchase your tokens, and they'll be in your wallet, and you really have no idea that they're there. That you just start accumulating your passive income or whatever it might be. So I think that's a great way to go about it personally.
Yeah, and there's some amazing solutions on Algorand already that allow for us to create other people's wallets,
Right.
and for it to have them completely secure and non-custodial. Um, yeah, me and my co-founder both feel strongly that when we see crypto reach mass adoption, nobody's going to even realize that it's crypto. It's just going
Yeah.
to be an amazing product that's that's utilizing the tech properly, and nobody's any the wiser.
Well, that's a big thing about, I love crypto, in particular blockchain, right? Is that even if Algorand, let's say, went to 1 cent right now, we don't want this to happen. We could still do what we're doing. We could still play Aegir Tactics. We could still own NFTs. Everything is still moving in terms of, it's just the price is what we will all feel some type of way about. But in terms of utility, like Lofty, again, Aegir, it makes no difference. You can
Right.
still play, you can still buy and still use it. So I think that's the beauty about this whole space.
Yeah, and that's a great point,
Definitely.
C. Will, too, because the asset itself, the underlying asset of the chain, Algo in this case,
Yes.
could be going down, but there's other assets on the chain that can also be going up. I'm still up on a lot of my real estate positions. I know that there's security token markets that are open on Algorand that I believe are also up as well. So there's certainly a lot of functionality outside of just the pure speculation of the base economic unit. But
Yeah.
I'd love to go back a little bit to what you were mentioning before, and David actually typed up a question here, and he would like you to expound on what is cloud gaming. And honestly, I would too, because
Yes.
it sounds like something I should understand, but honestly, I don't. So I'll let you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the idea is that instead of people having the software on their system, that it's something that's run on the company's server and then is just streamed to you basically as an interactive video. And so there are quite a few advantages to it. One is that you don't have to keep up with updates. You don't have to download anything. You just go to your browser and you basically get to play like a full-fledged game. And these are not simple games. These are like, the entire game. And it is generally more expensive on the company to put that on, as you would expect, because it's going to require a lot more servers
Right.
and processing power. But at the same time, that level of accessibility sounds really great. And I'm really excited to see what we see to see more from cloud gaming.
Oh, so that makes sense. So yeah, you don't have to download it onto your device.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. That's the best way to do it. I remember we used to have to buy NBA 2K, and now you can just like download it directly to your Xbox and all of that. It's getting a lot simpler.
I'm looking forward to what Netflix has in store for us, because
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard about that. So after this, I think I'm going to do a little bit of research on that.
What's going on fully with that? I'm not too aware. I just know they got games coming.
I'm not too in the loop on it, but apparently they have started a studio, and the focus is going to be on these kind of cloud gaming experiences. I believe there's something similar on Discord. I'm not 100% sure on this, but they have an activities feature that they implemented, and it's the same concept basically. Is you're not downloading these games on your end, but you get to play them, and they stream the the whole experience.
It's crazy. So it's like remotely, you basically controlling the server and
Yeah,
letting people
essentially.
watch it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, can we talk more about Aegir in terms of the other features? I know y'all have like missions and other activities that users could do.
Yeah, so it would be great to get into the reward token a bit, and
Okay.
this is a really big thing that we wanted to put a lot of focus on. Um, we are going to have a reward token, which is an ASA on Algorand. It's actually already minted, though we haven't distributed. It's not really in distribution yet, just to a few of the early legend holders. Um, but the idea with this token is that we're going to provide liquidity for it using game revenue, and then people will be able to buy it or sell it. It'll be usable as an in-game currency, and the main goal of having this as a available reward is we want to use it to incentivize people to own the premium content. Um, right now, in a lot of games, we've gotten really accustomed to the monetization being focused on game access, but we would like to focus it a bit more on the premium side of things, and potentially earning, because that's the thing that people are really excited in blockchain for. And we don't want it to be what we've seen so far. In a lot of games, we've seen the play to earn mechanisms be the inflation is very high on the tokens,
Yep.
and they usually just don't have the appropriate utility or anything like that, and eventually the whole thing comes crashing down. Our goal is really to look at it as a loyalty incentive program, that a percentage of our revenue goes into putting out rewards for the people who have been purchasing the premium content.
Hey, we got a guest.
Yeah, guest star.
Yeah, what's good? All right. But yeah, so a royalty, royalty, a token for rewards makes a lot of sense. And I love the idea of that profit sharing and revenue. That always gets me excited. When do you think the token launch will be? Will this be like definitely after the game comes out in that second quarter?
So we're not planning to do a token sale. We want all. Well, now the cat's in here too. Um, our
Yeah.
plan is to only issue this token as a result of owning the premium cards and playing consistently with them. And so there won't be a public sale or a launch necessarily. It's really just a matter of when we start with the liquidity provisions, which should be fairly soon. We are doing our first vault launch fairly soon. The whitelist signups are up now in our Discord, and that's going to feature the first class in the game, which is the Templar. And there's going to be 10,000 packs available as part of this sale. And yeah, really looking forward to that. We haven't sold any assets in quite a while, but now that we have more information up and with the closed beta coming out, we're looking to issue some of these premium assets ahead of time.
So how does, like, let's think a little grand vision. How does Aegir plan to scale once y'all game is up running and people are playing and doing rewards like that? I'm always interested.
So it really is a challenge in blockchain, especially when you have assets that are in limited supply. You have an issue where on one hand you don't want the assets to be too expensive and to lock people out of the game, but on the other hand you want them to really have strong utility. The way we're looking at it is these premium assets are for people who want to earn the game, and we're also going to have people who want to play the game just for the gameplay. They're not really concerned with collecting or earning. And by catering to them and having them be like the focus of the game, we're able to add additional value to the token. And so there will be a free to play system where people can come in and try the game. There will be ways for people to gain access to some of the classes without, earning potential. And all of that is going to be a virtuous cycle, essentially.
Now, what other revenue models does Aegir Tactics have? Because of course it has the ability to sell these NFTs, sell these assets. But outside of that, because of course, as you mentioned, there's the free play version where people don't have to collect and whatnot. What other revenue models are there for Aegir Tactics?
So there's a lot of the more traditional monetization that we see in card games, not having to do with the game access necessarily, but premium cosmetics is a really big thing. We've got card backs, game boards, avatars. There's quite a large number of things that people like to see in these games and be able to customize their experience. That is certainly part of it. The other thing is really finding ways to get Web 2 card gamers into the game, and so that's really going to be focused on just access without earning. But any revenue that we can generate there will be passed on to the earners, and so at the end of the day, we see the system as a way to create incentives and create a bit more stickiness than we're used to in Web 2 games.
That makes sense. And I'm curious because I'm on the NFT Explorer currently. Are these assets going to be in the game, or are these just currently just to like raise funds? Are these in-game items?
Yeah. So these are basically it's all the assets created by our main wallet, and so a few of them are just little frills, like the black and white sketches.
Yeah.
That was a limited edition series we did just for some of our big users when we first started. But all of the characters where it's a name followed by a class, those are mythic legends. And so the mythic legends are the highest tier of rarity, and having one of those will unlock a deck in the game once it's launched, and it will also allow you to earn tokens inside.
That artwork is so dramatic too.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed. Oh, can you talk a little bit about like just the cultural aspects of this game here?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that the artists felt really strongly about, and us as well, as we really wanted to incorporate a lot of different cultures. Really, it's an all-inclusive environment, and I know a lot of gamers really feel strongly about this. But it's one world.
Facts. Yes. We got one planet until we can get two, right? JT.
Right. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
I
mean, maybe with Elon Musk converting Mars into something livable, we might have a chance. David's asking, what's the price point for entry into Aegir? So, like, what of course, there's a free version, but if people did want to collect and participate that way, is there like a floor price for a lot of these assets when they come out, or how does that work?
It's hard to put an entry point, since a lot of that will be determined by the market. But there will be there's 3 tiers of rarity for the legends. So the mythic legends are currently trading on the market, and I believe. Do you have the price floor there today?
Let's see. Let's pull this back up.
But there will be lower tiers of rarity as well.
Floor price 99 algo currently.
Yeah. So our goal is to make it fairly inexpensive for people to pick up a legend and to get into the game. And once the lower tiers start trading on the market, it should be quite accessible.
Perfect.
Nice.
Awesome. Well,
hit some of these questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say we've got some community questions over here that I've started up, and I think this last one from Uncle Sam is actually a really good one. Are there any plans for any in real life NFT versions of the digital cards? So essentially, I'm guessing it's like a real life gameplay, so actual cards that I can play with a friend in real life. C Will and I could meet up and Decipher and play an actual card game. Yeah,
and a poster. I would like a poster.
Yeah, that's something that my co-founder is really passionate about. He's put some planning into it already, and it's definitely something that we'd like to do over time. Um, we it's no secret that gamers are a little negative about NFTs right now, just because I think they haven't really seen a great example of a blockchain game really showing the value of having digital assets on chain. And one way that we think could really, get them a bit more excited is if these assets are tied to something more physical. We've considered, playing cards. Statues are popular in these
Yeah.
genres.
Can I give you an
Uh,
idea?
yeah, absolutely.
So I saw what Bilal with Algorand Fame's doing, right? He has the Fame token, and then he has got Wood Fame physical tokens, and that you can redeem basically 1-to-1. So I'm definitely about to do that, but only in the physical. So once I get to do Cypher, I gotta, send those Fames out. And so something like that I think would be cool, to be able to get a physical deck, but make it really hard to get.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's definitely an exciting prospect, and it could connect the dots for people,
I
because
think so.
some people don't see the difference between pixels in one game versus pixels in another, and they say, well, what's the point of having it on chain? Like, what does that really get me? And I think that really does help to make it clear that this is an asset that you own and that it has benefits.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And we've got another question that I don't fully understand because I'm not a player of Magic myself, but you might understand this question. So, how do you police an NFT game when the NFTs are controlled by the user? So essentially, Magic the Gathering can balance things by changing the digital cards, but how do you balance a minted NFT game? And if you
Yeah,
could just explain what he's talking about here too, if you could.
yeah, definitely. So in these games, in the physical Magic game, it was really difficult for them to make balance changes. So if a card was too good, they'd usually just have to say, well, you can't play that card anymore. And it was called banned. In digital card games, it's been different because they can actually just change the software and change how the card works. We see it a lot in Hearthstone. They'll go back and they'll change cards, and some will be made better, some will be made worse. So when we mint these cards, we're not minting the card information with them. So we'll mint things like what the name of the card is, what their class is, the rarity, but we won't mint things like what they actually do in the game, so that we can change that over time inside the game. And it does add an additional challenge, because in a lot of games, they will essentially cycle through cards, and so as they release new cards, they'll get rid of the old ones. We're committed to not getting rid of the old cards, because we don't want people to be collecting assets that they end up just not being playable. So we will be doing a lot of adjustments to these cards over time, and we'll also be working on the decks and making sure to keep those updated, making changes, allowing additional customization to keep things fresh. But it's important for every asset to remain in the game.
Perfect. That was very clear and cleared that up a little bit on my end. I hope it did for everybody else as well. Not exactly an Aegir Tactics question per se, but Uncle Sam's got another question here asking, have any of us seen that Sony filed paperwork for blockchain patents, I suppose, or getting into blockchain gaming to some degree? And then just adding a comment, Aegir Tactics on PlayStation console. That would be cool to see. But what is the possibility of ever seeing a game like yours on a console, whether it be PlayStation, Xbox, or anything of the sort?
It's certainly interesting. I'm not too familiar with card games on consoles. I believe there have been some that have gone on consoles. Um, Really, for us, the key thing is we want everybody who's interested to be able to play it on something, and so it's certainly something we would consider. And if anybody who's pro blockchain is certainly a great place to start.
Y'all see Marvel? I think it's Marvel Snap.
Yep.
Yeah. That I want to see y'all head that direction one of these days. I know they have a big budget, but we'll work our way there. But that's
what is Marvel Snap?
Yeah, it's well, you want to break it down, Victor?
Yeah, sure. So it's a game that was created by the original creator of Hearthstone. So he was the game director on Hearthstone. He decided to go out on his own. His name is Ben Brode. And Marvel Snap is the first game that his studio that he branched out into, their first release, and it's been a hit with card game players. I know that my team has been playing it for research purposes. I personally haven't gotten to check it out much yet, but I've heard good things. There's definitely some things to learn, and Ben Brode is great. He definitely had some issues that he wanted to solve in his game to make things more competitive. But I think the key difference is that where we're going with Aegir Tactics is we want to have a bit more of a competitive game, a game with earning, that players can come and is lucrative for them. Whereas I think Ben Brode's priority with his studio is just a fun, light experience, and so it's not really a direct competitor.
No. I just think as a big fan of Marvel, I like always tap in with everything that they drop. So I'm always looking, but they are definitely doing the right things with their games and production. So I always like, okay, how can we do that on Algorand?
Absolutely, yeah. Playing the game for research purposes reminds me of. Back when I used to work at the restaurants and I used to eat food for quality control reasons and not just because I was hungry. Absolutely. So, we're closing up on the end of the hour here. So I want to give the floor to you a little bit to, maybe bring up anything that we haven't discussed so far about Aegir Tactics or about the token or about the launch process or anything of the sort, whether you want to plug a Discord
World
group or
Cup
anything.
Tiger Chi, something like that too.
Oh, we do have one. Let's do that first, and then we'll get to what I just started spouting off. So Uncle Sam's asking, what's up with the World Cup Tiger Chi? If you have any idea.
Yeah, we've been in contact with Tiger Chi for a while. Their team is great, and I haven't gotten to look into the World Cup. I believe we just retweeted it. One of our community members. I'll certainly have to check it out myself, but the art's looking cool, and really excited to always excited with the Tiger Chi team.
They always have some great stuff.
Yeah. It's the who's going to kill it for World Cup is going to be Tiger Chi and Goannas. I see they're both doing some World Cup stuff. But go ahead, Victor, if you want to share anything or any other information that you think the audience should know about.
Well, yeah, I mean, we really appreciate you guys having me on. I think we covered just about everything there is, but on our Twitter there is a link, and that has all of our social media. We have blog posts on Medium, a Discord, Twitter, lots of updates. We're adding more content. Right now we're launching a series of pro player interviews. Since we do work with a lot of pro players on the game design, and also making sure that all the systems and the esports is planned ahead of time. So we do want to have a series where we create some exposure for these players, but also really get to what is driving them and what they find so exciting about card games.
Absolutely. One, well, actually maybe not one, but one of the last questions I want to ask is, why did you choose Algorand?
Yeah, for us, really the big thing was about the tech. We didn't want to get into a blockchain just because there was more money there, or more users, or more hype. Because to us, it's not really about adding blockchain to a game. It's about adding features to a game. And we just felt Algorand was the best choice for that.
Perfect. And it does look like David's back in his seat. So I'm going to try to pull him up and see if he wants to ask his last question that he's been asking all of the audience members that we've had on so far. What's going on?
I was wondering. I was like, wait a minute. I thought he answered all my questions. No, yeah. World Cup. Are you a World Cup fan?
No, I'm afraid I'm not.
Okay, I've been asking all of our guests who they want to see win the World Cup. It's funny. I actually went to look at the odds today. USA obviously is not very high. I think Brazil is number one, and then you got like Argentina and England and Portugal and all those guys. So yeah, it's still crazy. I think the only time the US is going to win is when Neymar and it's like you say once the big guys go away, but there's these other nations got so many good players that make USA look crazy. Maybe we win.
What about the women though?
Well, yeah, the women's national team does amazing, but
you got to support our women, man.
Yeah, as far as the men's national team goes, they're maybe home field advantage with the next World Cup being in the Americas, and maybe that'll give us an edge, and some of our younger guys will be a little bit older.
We'll see.
We will. But thanks, Victor, for coming on the show. It was great. Even though I was backstage, I was changing a really big diaper, but I still had my headphones on, so I was listening to everything you guys were saying. Super excited about what you're building, and best of luck to you and your team. And hope Aegir Tactics, can rival, the Hearthstones or however you say it, those type games that are out there.
Absolutely. And just take a second to plug everything you got, whether it be a website, Discord group, Telegram group, wherever people can find out more information.
Let me grab the link for you guys. Would love to hear from anybody. This is our link tree, and you'll find all of our socials on there. Would love to hear any feedback or always looking for new members to chat with.
Awesome. So if everyone heads on over to, it seems like barracuda.io/Aegir, and that's AEGIR, you'll get this little link right here. You can go to Twitter, Discord, the website, GitHub, Medium page, and Reddit page, as well as YouTube and Twitch. So definitely go check it out, and appreciate you, Victor, for coming on the show, taking the time out of your day to share all this with our audience members, and it's really been a pleasure.
No, pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to meeting you guys at Decipher.
Hey,
yes, very excited about Decipher. And for all those tuning in, thanks for all your comments. We've definitely been checking out the live chats. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and maybe share this video out once it completes.
Yep, and I will just say to all the viewers that are out there as well that we probably will not be having a show next week, obviously, because it'll be right before Thanksgiving. So you may not hear from us until we are in Decipher, but we are super excited to bring you guys loads of content once we are at Decipher. So be sure to hit us in the DMs with people you'd like to hear and see, us get a camera in front of. And until then, guys, we will see you at Decipher Dubai, Algorand's biggest event. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got a lot of shout outs to give to all of our supporters who help us get out there, like Nifjan, Bad Taxi, a whole bunch of other names.
A whole bunch. Shadow Algo, everybody that
Shadow Algo, I can't even say. But so we appreciate y'all, but look out for a lot of content, like David said, and a lot of alpha. Let's get it.
Till next time, guys. Take care.
Peace.